Well, it's been a while since we've heard anything about Doctor Strange, whether that be information about Doctor Strange 3 or be information about Doctor Strange appearing in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars and the role that he's going to play in all of these films. And it is rather odd that we haven't really heard much about him, seeing as he is kind of the one character that was already set up for a continuing story that would eventually go on to lead into Avengers Doomsday. Now, of course, at the time it was supposed to go into Avengers the Kang Dynasty. However, since we're still getting Avengers Secret Wars, it seems like the end goal is kind of the same, which means the story of Doctor Strange 3 shouldn't have changed. And according to industry insider Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus, it really hasn't changed. And we know a decent amount of what the plot is going to be, how it's going to tie into Avengers Doomsday, and now specifically after this new report, it sounds like the relationship between Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom is going to be incredibly important going forward in the MCU. And if you have read the Time Runs Out story in the comics and Avengers Secret Wars, the 2015 version, you'll know just how big of a character Doctor Doom is, but more importantly, you'll know how important the relationship between Doom and Strange actually is. And we'll get into that, but here's what we know so far about Doctor Strange 3, or Doctor Strange's story in Avengers Doomsday, if that comes first. You see, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness left off in a really great way with the post-credit scene with Clea showing up, telling Doctor Strange that he caused an incursion and they have to go fix it. And I might add that he very willingly goes, but him and Clea do get married in the comics, so of course there's some romantic interest there. And according to Alex Perez, like I mentioned, the plan is still the same. He recently said a couple of weeks ago, the main premise I reported in the Time Runs Out article is still happening according to my sources. Whether or not it is explored in his solo film or as a side story in Doomsday, that remains to be seen. And on that note, I think that just depends on whether or not Marvel Studios releases Doctor Strange 3 before Doomsday or after, because he's obviously going to be in Doomsday, and if that comes first, then they'll just have to address the post-credit scene for Multiverse of Madness with Clea in that movie as kind of a side story. On the other hand, if Doctor Strange 3 comes first, we'll pick right up with that post-credit scene with the film. And that's what his report states. For Time Runs Out in Doctor Strange 3, he says, according to his source, Marvel Studios wants to adapt elements from that comic event. He states, the film would pick up right where we left off in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where Clea traveled from another dimension to seek out Doctor Strange for his aid in fixing the incursion that he caused. The article continues and states, from what we've been told, Strange has been sought out by a multiversal organization called the Black Priests. According to our sources, Clea is a member of this organization. The Black Priests HQ will be in the nothing space of destroyed universes, which exists within the space of two dead universes caused by an incursion. And we've kind of seen that a little bit in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But it continues to state, it will be revealed in the film that the multiverse is dying. The cause of this decay is a result of the incursions happening all across the multiverse, the most recent being the one caused by Doctor Strange. The film will also elaborate on a point made in the previous movie regarding Doctor Strange and his threat to the multiverse. It was made clear in the previous film through Christine Palmer 838's research that Stephen Strange is one of the most dangerous threats to the multiverse. However, they have yet to specify how exactly he was dangerous outside of what Strange 838 did. The upcoming sequel will explain how Steven is a threat to the multiverse by establishing him as a common denominator when it comes to incursions across the multiverse. And originally they said aside from the main danger of the Council of Kangs, but of course now that is going to be aside from the main danger of Doctor Doom. They stated, while it will be confirmed that the main reason for the decay of the multiverse is due to the incursions being caused by the Council of Kangs, it is unknown at this time if the film will feature a Kang variant. So now all you have to do is switch out Kang for Doctor Doom. So it's not confirmed if Doctor Doom is going to show up in the film or if they're simply going to say Strange is causing some incursions, but there's actually something out there causing way more incursions than Doctor Strange. He is not the main threat to the multiverse. Now, here's something that is worth noting because this could be a big part of Doctor Strange 3, Avengers Doomsday, or both. A few different insiders have reported this, but most notably Daniel RPK has reported that Doctor Doom is going to have some allies, and a few different insiders have stated that the Scarlet Witch might be one of his allies, possibly doing a Children's Crusade storyline where Wanda is with Doctor Doom. And yes, I mean with him. They are literally about to get married in that comic run. But with that comes the possibility that Doctor Strange might also kind of be on the side of Doom at first, because that is actually what ends up happening in the comics. Doctor Doom reveals to Doctor Strange what he's basically been doing, which is him trying to save the multiverse with Molecule Man. Now, at the time when he was doing this, he had a group called the Black Swans, and basically what they were doing is going around and killing Molecule Man in each universe. Each Molecule Man in each universe was a bomb designed by the Beyonders to blow up the entire multiverse. So in an attempt to stop that from happening, Doom and the Black Swans went around killing Molecule Man in each universe. And while they were doing this, a lot of groups out there actually thought that they were the bad guys of the multiverse. They were going around destroying universes to try and kill the entire multiverse, when in fact it was basically the opposite of that. They were trying to save it. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Black Priests in Doctor Strange 3 or in Avengers Doomsday, wherever the story takes place again, think that Doctor Strange is a threat to the multiverse, but there's also somebody else out there who is a big threat to the multiverse, that person being Doom. So this would probably lead to Doctor Strange and Clea going to investigate this other threat to the multiverse, with Doctor Strange trying to prove that he is indeed not a threat to the multiverse, at least not intentionally. But then, finally meeting Doom and finding out what his true purpose is, Doctor Strange might agree with Doctor Doom. If the Beyonders are the true threat to the multiverse and they can set off this multiversal bomb destroying the entire multiverse, then yes, they should try and get on top of it and do anything they can to try and save the multiverse. Now, we've mentioned this a few times in other videos talking about what Doom's real plan might actually be, but in the comics, what it comes down to is Doctor Doom, Molecule Man, and Doctor Strange ultimately deciding that there isn't a way to actually save the entire multiverse, and the only way to save really anything is to simply save something, meaning just kind of save one universe. And that's basically the very quick conversation that happens between Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange in the comics. And when Doom actually decides to go against the Beyonders and essentially destroy everything in an attempt to simply save something, their universe, Doctor Strange says, well, Doom, how are you different than the Beyonders wanting to destroy the multiverse? And Doctor Doom basically says, I tried to save the multiverse, I can't, so at least I'm going to save something. Even if it's just one universe, it's better than no universes, no multiverse at all. Don't you think that's worth it, Strange? And Doctor Strange essentially says, yeah, it is. In a weird, messed up way, if you can't save the multiverse and everything's gonna go, at least try to save something, some remnant of that, which does end up being Battleworld. Battleworld ends up being remains of leftover universes, not universes that are alive, but ones that have been destroyed and simply left something behind. Think of the Void. When universes die, but they have some remains left, that goes to the Void. And I've stated this before, and I'll state it again after we saw Deadpool and Wolverine, where Cassandra Nova said she'll kill everything, all of the universes, the entire multiverse, just go on a killing spree until nothing is left but the Void. When I heard her say that, I instantly thought, okay, well, that's where Battleworld is going to be. The Void will be Battleworld because it'll be the place where all the remnants of all these other universes are left over, which is literally Battleworld in the comics. But to top it all off, even then in Avengers Secret Wars, Doctor Strange is one of the only people who remembers what happened before, and he stays loyal to Doctor Doom. In fact, even when some of the characters show up from Earth 616, like Reed Richards and Spider-Man and others, and they're basically like, what the hell? Doctor Strange still stands by Doctor Doom. It's actually a very epic conversation between Reed Richards and Doctor Strange. Reed is saying, Victor Von Doom is a god and rules over everything in this world, and yet you had to weigh that against other conditions? What in the world could matter so much that you left us here buried alive, Stephen? Explain it to me. And Stephen only says this, it's easy to explain, Reed. He is very, very good at playing God. And I won't spoil anything else from the comics because that's an amazing storyline, and if you haven't read it, you should. And if something were to actually happen from that story in the MCU, I wouldn't want to spoil that either. However, the concept of Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange teaming up together for the better sake of the multiverse and trying to save it, or something of it, would make sense. And that is a big part of the Time Runs Out and the Secret Wars story from the comics. So that could be what we're in store here for Doctor Strange. Again, Alex Perez said that he heard that's still the plan. And with Doctor Doom now in play, we could get one crazy killer story in Avengers Doomsday and or Doctor Strange 3. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Would you like to see this happen? Would you like to see a team up of Strange and Doom? Or would you rather see them fight? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, leaks, or rumors. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.